few lines below the middle of page Nun Hey, and the line begins with the word lemalchus. As we concluded, the hamshacha from binah into malchus is representative of the union of bracha. Binah, this is melech law, this is the way it is above. Malchus is melech tator. Malchus draws from binah, the union of malchus, as we discussed the whole union of melech and so forth. The union in this is, we're saying binah is the beginning. Why is binah the beginning? Why we say that the whole union that we draw from binah? Binah yodua, for it is known, the yikir hishtalshalus hishtalshalus hu mi binah. At the principal starting point, and so to speak, the inspiration for hishtalshalus is in binah. Again, hishtalshalus means the principle of chaining down, of a systematic descent from level to level to level, where one level feeds and gives inspiration to the next level and so forth. And then the lower level gets its sense of connection and sense of reality from the upper level. This is hishtalshalus. And where does this process begin? In binah. Because above that, that's what we're going to see in a minute, that above that, essentially, there is no hishtalshalus. Because above that, there is no mitzius. It is just the Ayin safe, in general terms. And now the Rebbe explains further. Hagam the chokhmah binah. Although that chokhmah ubinah, this combination of chokhmah together with binah, hey bechinas, avo, lezo, they represent the bechinah of avo. Avo means avo'in, lezo, which means that actually chokhmah is the av, is the inspiration, is the nekuda, the power behind hishtalshalus of zo. Zo is called ze'er ampin. Effectively, this means this is the midah, the sphere is begilui. There is arich ampin. There is a sphere as the way they are above, contained in and presented in arich ampin and keser. And then there is the ir ampin. The ir ampin means the union from midas and in small measure. And what creates and what gives the impetus for the ir ampin, this is avo'in. So it's like the child from the father and mother, and the avo'in is chokhmah and binah. So therefore, it would be, according to this, that at chokhmah binah is avo'in. Therefore, both chokhmah and binah are the starting point for hishtalshalus. Zo clearly represents the principle of hishtalshalus. That there is chesed and gvura. Chesed and gvura is like two counterparts. Chesed modifies gvura, and gvura modifies chesed. And then together that becomes tiferes. And so forth. There's netzach ha'idisod. It's also part of that process of bringing things out begilui. And where is that start? He says avo, avoi. Why do we then say that hishtalshalus, that cholus hishtalshalus, is from binah? Well, this we explain b'kol, but you have to understand that chokhmah hu b'bchinas makor harochoik. Chochmah is in a state of bechina, of an effect, harochik, a distant source, not the immediate source, not the source that immediate source means not the source that gets involved in that which results from it. Makor harochik means from a distance he has an effect. Doesn't get involved in that which results from it. V'yiker ha-makor b'bchinas kiruv, and thus the principal makor, the principal source for Zoh, b'bchinas kiruv, in a kiruv manner, in a close-up manner, hu b'bchinas binah. It is in the bechina of binah. So let's for a moment focus in on these two principles. Makor, mokim harochik, and makor b'bchinas kiruv. The principle of makor in general is you have to understand an overall and general concept that anything finite does not have a real basis for being. Infinity is reality. Anything finite does not have a real basis on its own to be. Anything finite has to point to a makor. What, so to speak, defines the place where I am, and what it is that justifies my being, and gives us a sense of reality, a sense of meaning to my being. Because the finite entity itself, where is it? Where is it coming from? What is it about? I hope you have that clear, and if not, I'll just give you one very simple means to see this concept. Now we see houses, streets and houses, and streets and so forth. Yes, each house has its own foundation and stance. A tree stands on its own. But what gives it a real presence? It is the fact that it is present in the broader reality. There is room for it. There is an infinite welcoming reality that allows it to be and gives it a place to be. If not for that, it could not be on its own. There's no significance, there's no basis for its existence. This is, we always turn to this point, this is the phenomenal fallacy of the whole psychological approach, that everything fights for its existence. It's ridiculous. If you fight for its existence, it means that he doesn't exist. Doesn't have a real basis for existence. Everything has to have a makor. The makor gives it a basis, a reality sense. The makor goes higher and higher in Ayin Sof. So this is what we say, that the beginning point of hishtalshalus is from binah. But then we say no, but we say that Ayin, the chokhmah binah, is the makor for Zoh. So as you say, that's yes, Ayin is the makor for Zoh, but the chokhmah is the beginning makor rochik, mirochik, and binah is Mibchinas Korif. Here now that after we have understood this introduction, we have to focus in and understand the principle Mokir HaRochik and Mokir HaKorif. Mokir HaKorif means that Bina finds it justifiable for it to get involved in the midas. It really gives it a reality point. It's here because I want it to be. That's a Mokir HaKorif. Mokir HaRochik, this is Chochmah. HaRochik, yes, that's also the Mokir, but it's Rochik. Chochmah does not bother with midas. I can't get involved in this. Which means it does not really give of itself to the midas, even though this is ultimately the source from it. Let's apply it at this, unless we don't understand. I think it's quite clear. But it's korev and rochik. Korev means that it's a makor that not only allows for this to be, but actually gives it inspiration. It actually descends to its level and gets engaged in it. That's making a korev.
Paltiel?
Yes, sir.
Why do we say that anything finite needs a makor and not something more why don't we say that anything not atzmi needs a makor?
The answer to your question is that when we say anything not atzmi needs a makor, we don't know what we're talking about. Our thinking has to have a makor too. From that we can go deeper and deeper.
In terms of the makor HaRochik, is the message that Chochmah, what this support that Chochmah is giving, is the fact that the Melech provides for everything?
There's no Melech, Chochmah isn't the Melech. Truth is for everything. Melech is when he already identifies with his underlings, with his country, with the content. That's binah. Chochmah does not even identify with it. We always speak Chochmah binah, and Chochmah is like the sight. Okay. Sight we have at a glance. And at this glance, what do we see in a glance? The infinity of space. Not the infinity, not the measurable element of space. The fact that in this space you can put a tree and a house. That's the sight doesn't really get engaged in that. It doesn't provide for anything. You can pass by miles and miles. I didn't see anything.
So how is it a makor?
because that space is where binah builds itself up. Binah goes in and says, yeah, this space, yes, it's infinite, but it can be broken down into little pieces, into plots, into lots.
And that's by binah's initiative, not by chokhmah.
This is by binah's initiative, drawing from the chokhmah.
Chokhmah says anything to binah or not even?
The principle of chokhmah, we see in the marshal of space. Space, as you perceive it inside, you perceive two almost contradictory elements. You perceive it as space, which means space by definition can be broken down into little pieces. It's a lot of you can increase space. You have this much. On the other hand, we say no, we perceive it as infinite. The infinite element of space that Chokhmah perceives has nothing to do with anything, with any content. But Chokhmah perceives it as space. If it's space, then clearly Binah says, this space can be broken down. And this is where Chokhmah is the Avo, is the father. So yes, it's not Keser. It's not lemalchus. It is something that has a presence, and it can be broken down. I'll leave it up to you. That's how Chokhmah provides it. Okay. And this is why Chokhmah is called b'bchinas makor harochek. It is definitely the makor, because the way it is higher than Chokhmah in Rotzen and Loinoi, that cannot be broken down into mitzias, into midas. Makifi. Chokhmah takes from this keser, and in Chokhmah, keser is simply saying like, Rotzen is one that I want. Like we say all the time from the Baal Shem Tov. He's automatically there. Chokhmah does not perceive it as being automatically there. But Chokhmah perceives it, and it is part of the same reality, and it's accessible. It's in the same realm. Binah says, oh yeah, it's really accessible. If you make 10 steps, you'll be there. Chokhmah is re'iyah, and re'iyah we see the place where we want to go right away. But still, there's an element of distance recognized. But this distance is not because of the visible space, but that's how, because he's being observed as an outsider. How come it's not ringing? Already rang, right? It's already rang once time. Okay. We have discussed the principal difference between being inside the room and being outside and looking inside. Looking inside, at a glance you see everything that's in the room. Being inside, you are in it. You also know everything that's in it. And the difference is, and you say, at the glance you can see, that's a big miracle. At the glance I could see everything, because I'm seeing a whole expanse. Inside there's no expanse. There's one reality. That one reality is not a source for anything in terms of hishtalshalus. A sight, a glance, which is even though it's at a glance, but still, it recognizes that there is an expanse that provides for development of mitzias, of midas, development of plots, in a rochik manner. Yes, no?
The glance from outside provides what will later become plots. Why the view from inside is not a source for anything?
Inside there is only one thing.
There's one thing, but isn't that the correct platform for everything else to develop?
No, that's not a platform. This is the reality.
Oh, so it's like already there. It's already.
It's a reality. This is okay. This is when Avtor's question comes in. Why don't you go straight to answer? I was saying finite and so forth. Development, like we was talking the whole time. There's Brum Shebiyam, Brum Shebiyabosh. Brum Shebiyabosh, these are the real Brum, but they're so distant from the source. That's what a Nivra is. B'roiv Am Hadras Melech. B'roiv Am Hadras Melech. No, Hadras Melech is everybody should be lying down on the floor and just flat. No, that's not Hadras Melech. Hadras Melech is when we make a bracha, Chacham Horozim, when you have 600,000 eating together, or people, I don't know exactly, you can make a bracha there because the Rebbe provides the chokhmah, the presence for each one of these individuals. This is where you see the glory and the greatness of the King. By the way, just as an aside, this is off topic. This is one of the objections of people davening in that corner, in that corner, in that room. Roib Hamadas Melech. Jumping in because you're called in, it's a mistake. It's a grave mistake. That's it.
What was it? Jumping into where?
To the minion.
To fill in for the minion.
It's a mistake? I missed that.
Okay, this is it for this morning. Have a great day. And tonight in Mitzvah Shem, we are going to meet you well. Even though there's a big meeting tonight, but we don't.